the first movie. Now, for those of you who have seen, I am an extremely big fan of Pokemon because Pokemon is amazing. Pokemon is forever, my nigga. Because Pokemon is one of the most enjoyable, relaxing, calming, colorful, not to mention entertaining pieces of media ever. And it's extremely easy to consume. And it's just so freaking fun to look at. Like when you just look at all these different Pokemon, it's really fun to just see all these different creatures. This is why I think Pokemon has some of the best world building possible. For one, it's for all ages. It's freaking enjoyable because it's for all ages, and you could see why all ages love it. Because just like Adventure Time, and even before Adventure Time, it has the feeling of feeling like a kid's dream. Ash Ketchum, when we were all little kids, we all felt like we were Ash Ketchum. We thought we were Optimus Prime. We thought we were Sonic. We thought we were Goku. But we really thought we were Ash when we were kids. I kid you not. We was like, man, we wanted the hat. We wanted the Pokeball. And it's just everything just fit together. You know, the sound of the Pokeball was cool. All the creatures were cute, colorful, and a lot of the time they evolved, they got bigger, and they got more exciting. You know, the final evolutions always looked so freaking fascinating and amazing. Charizard, it was freaking everybody's favorite. And now they use Charizard way too damn much. And that's how much we loved, that's how much we love Pokemon. And I feel like it's just Pokemon is so enjoyable. You love the manga. The manga is freaking amazing. The manga is actually a little more violent. The video games are so freaking easy to play, but they're so fun, but they're so simple. They use the exact same formula over and over again. You get to pick from three starter Pokemon from a professor that is named after a freaking tree, whether it's birch, whether it's oak, you know, you get a grass type, a water type, or guess what, a fire type. And you go through these things called routes, and you go to the cities to heal your Pokemon in the Pokemon Center. You get yourself some potions or some Pokeballs in the Poke stores, and you go and fight gym leaders till the point where your Pokemon are like level 45 to 50, and you go fight the Elite Four. And if you were like I was, nigga, when you was a little kid, you only raised up the starter Pokemon to like level 70. So man, you playing through the game with a freaking level 65 or level 70 when you get to the freaking Elite Four, the first two or three go arounds when you're young as a child, because that's how I was. My first game was Pokemon Gold, and my first starter Pokemon was Totodile, and I played the whole game. And when I got to the end, when I was in Kanto, my nigga, I had a Feraligatr level 72, my nigga. And I had a Pseudo Wudo. I think you catch it at level 20. It was like level 23 because for some reason the Pseudo Wudo's experience points goes up really slow. I don't know why. And the shiny Gyarados that you get, for some reason, its experience points go up really slow. I don't know why. I never understood that shit. But when you got to the end of the game, the shiny Gyarados was only like level 33, even though you caught it, I believe, at level 30. Um, but Pokemon has always had this adventure feel. It is one of the very first video games that I played that had the most funnest, most I thought I was in the world when I was playing this game. That's how fun it was when I was playing Pokemon Gold and playing the rest of the video games in the set, because I had played Pokemon Gold and then I played Red, Blue, and Yellow. I went backwards. And then I played Gold and Crystal. I mean Silver and Crystal, excuse me. I played Silver and Crystal. And then after that I remember I traded my Groudon Star card. It was a golden Groudon. I traded that for a Pokemon Sapphire version. And then I played that. And then I played Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. And I had Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald all at the same time. I used to trade Pokemon from my freaking Pokemon Emerald, Sapphire, and Ruby. I used to trade it over to the GameCube and then trade it over to Fire Red and Leaf Green. But you had to beat the Seven Islands first. It's just, I had this deep obsession with Pokemon because the world is so simple. but it's so deep and vast because it's so simple and it's so easy to consume, and you always enjoy it because it's so fun to see a new Pokemon and to catch a new Pokemon and to use them in your party and to train them up, and then you get close to them, you're like, oh my gosh, this Pokemon is awesome, and then when you get far enough, you verse the Elite Four or you verse the evil organization, because every game has an evil organization, and the original one, of course, is Team Rocket. You know, it's just really fun. And most people remember Team Aqua and Team Magma because most people around my age, I'm 26 years old, most people played Sapphire, Ruby, and Emerald at the same time as I did. We all played those games specifically. Most people around my age remember those ones deeply. But Pokemon will always be easy to consume, fun to play because it's so simple and easy, always feel brand new. It always will have a brand new feel to it because every region is new. Even if the story is pretty much the same, you go through the region with your starter Pokemon, you verse all the gyms, you get a legendary, you verse the Elite Four, you verse some type of variation of Team Rocket, to the point where now there's actually a team called Team Rainbow Rocket that I recently heard about because I have kind of been out of the game with certain video games. Um, so I mean, it's even more mind blowing when it comes to that. And it's just there's so much lore. Now, the crazy thing is that there's so much lore from the manga, there's so much lore from the anime, and there's so much lore from the video games, and they're all kind of different. And now, I saw some lore probably a couple years ago where there's like four different reds, and Ash is a variation of red, of course. Um, my mind was really blown when I played Pokemon Gold. Hold on, you got funniest story I got for y'all. I remember playing Pokemon Gold, and my version of Gold didn't save. And I remember I bought it from this lady. I call her the guinea pig lady because she had so much anime stuff. She was like 30 years old. She lived with her mom in an apartment, and they had guinea pigs running around the house. And her room was full of all types of anime, Ranma one half, Inuyasha, Pokemon. She had Pokemon toys. She had Inuyasha toys. She had so much stuff. And we were fascinated by that. I mean, I remember leaving one weekend and then coming back, and everybody had a Game Boy. Everybody was playing Pokemon. Everybody had these golden Pokemon cards. And there were those golden Pokemon cards that you got from Burger King. And she had all of them, but she ended up selling all her stuff because her mom just got tired of seeing it. And dude, she had all the golden Burger King cards and actually sold them to all the kids. And it was crazy because a lot of kids didn't even like Pokemon like that, but for some reason they was hella into it because they were like, "Oh, she has cool stuff." You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty mind blowing. But Pokemon is a way of life, believe it or not. I know it's crazy, but just like how you got the gays and you got the people who got hood life and all that, Pokemon is a way of life. Anime is a way of life. Why? Because Pokemon is on some deep stuff. It's deep. I'm telling you, the world gets deep. I have pretty much. I think I have almost all the mangas for Pokemon. I actually bought them at Goodwill. They were only, I think they were $2 each, which was freaking amazing. I have like the XY manga, the yellow manga, the red manga, the blue manga, the green manga. I really need to go and read them. I haven't. Some of them I haven't read. Some of them I have, but I have like a set of them. I think I have like 8 or 9 of them altogether. But let me talk a little bit more about how deep this Pokemon thing goes. So the biggest thing when we look at the anime, the video games have a very simple formula. Like I said before, they have you get a starter Pokemon, you go through routes, you go to Pokemon centers to heal your Pokemon, you go to the stores to get Pokeballs and potions, you verse the gym leaders. Once you get the right amount, you get to verse the Pokemon League. And the Pokemon League is the Elite Four in the video games, and then you verse a champion. Now in the original video games, the champion, of course, was your rival, Blue. Now, I remember somebody saying basically that originally the girl in the manga's name was Blue, and the boy's name, the Gary variants, his name was Green. And then our main character, of course, was Red. But then apparently they switched it over in the game, so Gary's variant is Blue, and then the girl's name is Green. And then, of course, Red is who we basically are in the first couple of Pokemon games. Um, but that's how the games are. You beat the Elite Four, you get some legendary. There's always basically three variations of a legendary. A good example would be Dialga, Palkia, and Garatina. And then you have a mystical legendary that you technically can't get in the game, or you got to hack to get it. An example of that would be Celebi, Jirachi, or Mew. And then you have some very rare legendary that you actually can get in the game. An example would be Mewtwo. Mewtwo has been in so many different games to the point where Mewtwo is basically a common Pokemon now. I mean, I have like three of them, bro. And you can get him in pretty much every game. You can get him in Heart Gold, Soul Silver. You know what I'm saying? You can get him in what's it called? You can get him in Fire Red, Leaf Green. You can get him in Sword and Shield. I mean, it's to the point now where it's just like a waste. Like, why do I need that many Mewtwo's, bro? I think I have three Mewtwo's. It's just like it's kind of a waste. Latios has become common too. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you can get him in Pokemon Black and White 2, I think it was that you can get him in that. Um, and then you can get Latios, if I remember correctly, in Hoenn, you can get one of them after you beat the game. One of them will be running around Hoenn. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then in Fire Red and Leaf Green, you actually can get Suicune, Raikou, or Entei, and one of them will be running around. It's only one of them that you can get in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because I remember doing that as a kid. I remember getting, I think it was Suicune, I remember catching in the wild, which I thought was pretty cool. I was just like, oh, that's a cool little thing. Like, oh, cool, you can get Suicune. Um, but anyway, the games have that mystical Pokemon that is like unattainable. You have to go to like some kind of event to get it. Celebi, Jirachi, Mew, Victini, and they usually end up putting one of those in the main movies, and then they have like the box art Pokemon fight each other. That's usually how it goes. Except for the original games. The original games didn't have Zapdos, Motions, and Articuno on the front of them. They had the three, starters, the original ones, their last evolution, Blastoise, Charizard, and Venusaur, which I actually really like. And then, of course, when they brought back Leaf Green and Fire Red, they had Venusaur and Leaf Green, and then Fire Red had Charizard. I never really understood why they didn't make like a Water Blue or something, or a Sky Blue or something. I always think it's weird when they make like remakes, but they don't make a third game for it. Like for example, Black and White was cool, and I always thought that they would have made Pokemon Brown or Pokemon Gray or something in between. Kyurem is kind of like a weird grayish blue kind of thing. So I thought that was what it was going to be. Instead, we got two more games. They're basically like DLC games because they basically had the same stuff in them, but were like slightly different. I think it was like two. There was two different gym leaders, and we're like a new younger kid, and you actually see the last. I think it's Sharon. I think is the boy, and the girl. What is her name? I can't remember the girl's name. But you have the two rivals or whatever, and they're Sharon is a gym leader. I believe his name is Sharon. He's a gym leader in that game. And then our main character, I always thought this was such a miss. Our main character from Black and White is not in Black and White 2 as like a final boss. Even though they have his house in the game, that made me kind of irritated because that was a missed opportunity. Instead of us getting all these random red battles, because I believe you can verse red in like three different games now when it comes to like newer games. If I remember correctly, he's in and correct me if I'm wrong, it's all good. I ain't tripping. I believe he's in Sun and Moon, and he looks older. It's blue and red during those games, and they look older. I have not played through Sun and Moon. Forgive me for that. I do have one. I think I have Moon. Yeah, I have Moon up there. I don't have Ultimate, or maybe I think you can verse them in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I think. I don't know. I haven't played those ones. The recent one I played is Y version, and I haven't beat the Elite Four yet. I'm on like the sixth gym, I think. So I am a little hazy when it comes to those specific games. You correct me if you want to. I ain't tripping. But I've played Red, Blue, Yellow, Crystal, Gold, Silver, Pokemon XD, Yellow, Darkness, Pokemon Coliseum, Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald. I've had all of those games at one time. I played Black and Black 2. I believe those are the ones I have. It's Black 1 and Black 2. Heart Gold. I had Heart Gold in Japanese actually. I got that in Japanese when I was a little kid. And now I have like the little 401 pack where it has like all the games on it. So there you go. But the appeal of Pokemon, it's always you versus an evil organization. You get a starter, you verse all the gym leaders, you go through the routes, you verse your rival, you get a box art legendary, and then there's the mystical ones you can't get, even though you really want them because they're always so freaking cute. Celebi is cute as hell. Freaking Jirachi is cute as hell. Victini is freaking adorable. You know, we all love that little cute little mystical Pokemon that they always play in the game. And they usually put those in the movie, which is super smart. Like their marketing is crazy. Like the way they do stuff is actually wild. Like what even made them think to do it like that? But that's like super, super smart. And Pokemon always has that feel, especially anime. And I might even make a longer video on this. The anime has such a dream-like sequence in it. The games are obsessive. You get obsessed with it because you watch the anime. When you watch the anime and you've seen Ash with Pokemon, it's like, oh, I want Pokemon too. I want to be a Pokemon trainer. And then you flip over to the games and you get addicted to them and you get a high on them. I don't get the high as much as I used to as a kid. But when I was a kid, I used to be like high in the games, meaning I was like just fixated on the game, like obsessed. Like I'm just like, boom. When I was playing Gold version as a kid, I was so obsessed with it. It's not even funny, mostly because my Gold version did not save. So it was like it's all bad if I turn it off. So I used to keep my Game Boy on all day and all night. And I remember I got to Mount Silver for the first time. I don't know how this happened. I dropped my Game Boy. I remember I used to turn the volume all the way down. I dropped my Game Boy, and I remember I turned the volume up, and it was like, and I was like, oh. Because basically I did all that work for nothing. I didn't even get to fully beat the game. And then I did the same thing with Silver version because my friend gave me a Silver version that sometimes it would save and then sometimes it wouldn't. It was the weirdest game. So you couldn't always expect for it to save. Sometimes it would just reset it, just out of nowhere, out of the blue. And I remember I had got a Meganium. Like I had just evolved my Bayleaf into a Meganium, and I was in the little light tower where you go to get where you go to meet the gym leader with the Steelix and the Magna Mite. What was her name? I think it's Jasmine. When you go and meet Jasmine and she's talking to Ampharos, and that's like her favorite Pokemon, but it's sick. And it's the lighthouse Pokemon. So you have to travel over to the island where you have to verse the fighting gym leader to get the like medicine or whatever for the Ampharos. Um, and I remember I dropped my game when I was versing someone, and I turned the volume back up, and it was like, and I was like, God damn, like I did it again. And I had saved this game, and I remember going back and turning it on, and then the game was like new game or options. And I was like, I was like, come on, bro. That game actually saved hella times, and that game was known to sometimes save, but sometimes it wouldn't. The most reliable one was Crystal, though. Crystal always saved for some reason. That one never reset and did that weird thing. And I think it's because they like updated the internal battery or something with Crystal. But Gold and Silver did not like. Silver saved sometimes, and Gold didn't save at all. I had the Gold version; it did not save, but I only got it for $7, so I wasn't tripping. It really was a steal to get something that was only $7 to me as a kid. Um, and I got so much joy out of playing those games to the point where it still affects me now. And the joy that I got out of watching the movies and watching the show, I don't think that will ever be repeated. And it sucks because when you're an adult, it's not as fun because you're not looking through your childlike eyes. So it's fun as an adult, but it's more just like a little hobby on the side. It's not like your whole life like it is as a kid. As a kid, video games is your life. Like you love it. You get high off of it. It is a drug. It is intense. It is deep. You take it extremely serious. You're extremely obsessed with it. You love the characters. You feel like the characters are genuinely your friends. You have freaking dreams about the characters and having conversations about the characters. I can't tell you how many dreams I had about Pokemon as a child and how much I loved having those dreams. And I still dream about some anime stuff and cartoons I like in video games, but it's not the same as when you're a kid because even the dream that you were in felt good. And it's like that because Pokemon had that dream vibe to it. It felt like a child's dream. It felt like you were inside a child's mind that continuously was on this amazing adventure catching these magical creatures that all had different powers. And you catch them in a capsule. And that's why I kind of like that theory. There's a theory where it's like basically Ash is in a coma and it's literally an endless dream that he's having. And it was because I think they said it was because a Ho-Oh put him in the coma or something. I actually find that really interesting. It's very poetic and very sad, but at the same time, I like it because it's sad and because it's poetic and because it's like what even made somebody even think of something that deep, um, you know. But yeah, Pokemon always has that, and the big thing that makes it so enjoyable, just besides that, is like I said, the creatures are just interesting. It's like, man, you think about how much you really want to live in this world, and then see the characters, and then you see all the different cities. And it was such a big, crazy thing because in the Pokemon world, 10 years old is an adult, so they literally get to travel the world as 10-year-olds, and it's just enjoyable. It's just imagine just being 10 years old and you get to travel the whole world, and it's dangerous, but it's not like as dangerous as our world. Like as long as you have a Charizard with you, or you have you like a Latios, you can throw your Latios out. You can luster purge a freaking guy. They'll leave you alone, run away, or whatever, whatever. Just that in itself is just fun. You know what I'm saying? It's really fun imagination esque world. And I don't think any show has even come close to the charm of Pokemon, except for shows like One Piece and Adventure Time. They also have that child esque feeling like it's a child's dream and feeling like a child created this with their own mind. Like it feels like somebody just connected a child's mind to like a generator and it just created this world. Those are the only like three, the only two, excuse me, the only two worlds I think come close to it. Kingdom Hearts, 100% feels like a child's dream. It feels like literally a child is sleeping, creating this as you go. Disney characters with anime characters, nigga, that's crazy. That's so. Kingdom Hearts is like that as well. I really want to play Final Fantasy because I see people talk about it all the time. I really want to play it. Um, but I am one of those kind of guys who really wants to play it on it like its original game system and whatnot. But I might just say screw it and try to play it on the computer or try to get me a really good desktop to where I can play it. But yeah, that's one thing that makes Pokemon feel so magical. Is just the dream feeling, the childlike, for one, the childlike high, the dreamlike feeling, the dreamlike child sequence you get from it, the vast world, the very simple world, but still very mysterious. See, and it really shows it in the movies when you see all the different Pokemon going around the world because it always usually will show like all the water Pokemon in the ocean in the movies, or it'll show like all the birds flying. You'll see like Pidgeotto flying with like a Talo or a freaking um, what are they called? Starly or one of those. You'll just see them kind of flying in the air. They do that like at the beginning of the movies. Um, but that's something that keeps it going. And then just Team Rocket actually um, adds very good parts to Pokemon. It's funny because as a child, I didn't really like Jesse, James, and Meowth that much because I felt like they kept interrupting Ash from being on his adventure. But that kind of is just the whole point. They're villains, and they're not good villains. They're horrible villains. But that's what makes them good villains. That's what makes you enjoy them because they're such bad villains. And even sometimes they help Ash in the movies, or sometimes in the show they'll help him. And sometimes they'll even be around and they're literally rooting for him when they see him like in a tournament or something. Because deep down, they actually love Ash. They have to love him because they follow this little man everywhere. And apparently, from what I heard, they're supposed to be like teenagers. Like they're supposed to be both be like 15. Get out of here, bro. There's no way. They're both supposed to be like my age now. They're both supposed to be like 25, 26. There's no way they're supposed to be teenagers. Get out of here. I don't believe that. They do not have a teenage vibe whatsoever. And if they are teenagers, they're like about to be adults. They're like both like 19 or something, or 18, 19. Because there's no way that they're supposed to be teenagers. What the hell? I don't even care if that's canon. That no. They are grown. Everybody thinks Jesse and James are like 30. There's no way. Um, but I always love Meowth. I love that episode where it's like he tries to. Like, we get to see the backstory of him learning how to talk, and he literally tried to talk just for a girl, Meowth. And then she thought he was a weirdo. I was like, come on, bro, damn. I'm like, he did something extraordinary. He learned how to talk for you, and you think he's creepy and weird? That's wild. That actually genuinely made me sad for Meowth. I love Meowth. But it's just funny because I originally, as a kid, I could not stand them. I got annoyed. I was like, they're always around. They're freaking everywhere. Like, god damn. Because it'd be like, as soon as this man, Ash, is about to go to a gym, as soon as he's about to go to a new city, he's trapped in a forest. Like, they always, Brock and Ash and Missy always got lost all the time. It's like, they would just appear. You just see that big old giant Meowth freaking balloon, and you're just like, god damn. But like now, I like. I think I started liking them when I was like 14, 15, because I used to like how sometimes they would get like jobs in the stadiums and stuff. Like they would get jobs and they would like be rooting for Ash, and they'd be selling popcorn and balloons and all this stuff. I always thought that was really funny, and I always thought it was funny how they would like somehow get a job so quickly and so easily. Um, I assume it's because they were like doing like fundraisers or something. I don't know. But I always enjoyed them kind of in the background later on when I got a little bit older, like 15, 16. Um, and one thing I always thought was really cool is that Ash pretty much always gets all three starters of every region. That's always really cool. Even though technically in the games, like you're not like they don't let you be able to get all three starters. Um, at least when I was younger, like in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, you can get all three starters. But back in the day, you couldn't do that. It was like, except for like Pokemon Yellow is when I remember. But I remember actually glitching my Silver version. Don't do no glitches, guys, because it'll literally break the game. But I basically glitched. I was hella smart for no reason. I don't even know how I figured out some of this stuff out. Some of it I saw on YouTube, but some of it I just figured out on my own. It was weird. I remember um, in Pokemon Silver, there's a way where you can literally clone the starters. And what you do is you save the game before you go into the lab, and then you go and you do all the stuff until you get your Pokemon, and you do it up until you're able to get Pokeballs. And you catch like a Pidgey, and then what you do is you switch the boxes. And when it says "Do not save," "Do not turn off power," you turn it off. And what it'll do is it'll start you right back where you were. But you basically glitched the game to be able to do two things at once. So you saved your Pokemon in the box, but you didn't save, it didn't fully save, so it sent you back to that spot that you originally saved. And so basically, I had all three starters. I had Chikorita, I have Totodile, and I had Cyndaquil, and it was like the coolest thing ever. My mind was blown. That was on my silver version. I never did it with any other version of the game because I didn't know if you could do it on the other games, and you probably can. You probably can do that on red, blue, and yellow too. You probably can do it on all of the games, but I just did it on that one game. But I would say don't do it because it probably is breaking your battery, and the batteries in those games aren't good already. So it is what it is. Apparently, the games don't work anymore, from what I've heard. I've tried to put mine in and play them, and they don't work no more. If I remember correctly, you can go and open them up and get a new internal battery, and they will play again. That's what I've heard from some people, and I have seen some YouTubers do that. So it is what it is. I believe you can get them to play again. But yeah, Pokemon is always going to be big. It is what it is because for one, even if the older people, which most people who like Pokemon are actually older, but people who like it are also younger, which is why it's a big giant franchise because Pokemon is like endlessly marketable. Pokemon will always be marketable. It's probably one of the most marketable franchises ever because for one, it always resets. So you are always going to see Ash get the new Pokemon that are available in the new game, and kids love it because it's colorful, it's cute, it's enjoyable to look at. The Pokemon are cute. You can go find them all at Walmart, etc., etc. So it will always be marketable because it's always cute and adorable, and it resets itself all the time. So the new generations will always be able to watch Pokemon and watch it from the beginning of whatever arc that Ash is on. Now Ash has actually quit, and now they have like this new girl or whatever, and there's like this new anime. I saw like part of one of the new ones, which about time. The man needed to be the world champion. I mean, he's been doing this for years. Apparently it's only been like a year in their world. He's 11 apparently, which is mind blowing because he really like 24. I mean, that's a grown man. But anyway, Pokemon will always be very interesting. And I mean, I'm on 30 minutes. Okay. So this is just kind of just a little video on Pokemon. It was supposed to be on Pokemon the first movie. That's gonna be the next one. Um, Probably gonna title this one "Pokemon Will Always Be Amazing." I'm gonna figure it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you liked it. Like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm gonna be doing as many of these as possible. Peace and blessings.